it his all, spawning in the bottom position of Submarine. He is Jon Snow. And his opponent, playing up here for Exon. Give it up for Ryan. Okay, so a couple of things you do expect on a bit of a smaller map. You know, there are plenty of opportunities for these guys to go balls to the wall. And as we go on later in the tournament, you have some of the maps like Jaganantha, like Oxide, which just have so many good proxy locations. And if you're watching North American StarCraft, let's be honest, you're probably watching it for the proxies. You see Ryan kind of just being a little bit of a nuisance here, but on the other side of things, he does just get his cybernetics core up, which will allow him to just play it a little bit more safe as he gets his Nexus here in just a couple of seconds. There we go. On the other, now with Jon, he's kind of playing this out like a normal game. He's got his hatchery before pool, and he's not really expecting anything too much. For these guys, it is a best of one. So you can't really have any do-overs if you mess things up. I'm sure their coaches will probably be in their ears if they lose this one. So be ready for the bloodbath, as they will be giving it their all. You have that Adept coming out. That kind of tells me that it's probably going to be a Stargate opening. Obviously, Stargate can be pretty powerful on such a small map. We've seen a lot of players just stick to this new Void Ray meta as well, because it's just so good for getting that early damage, denying vision across the map by killing off all these overlords. And from there, you can really transition as your opponent, the Zerg player, has to kind of react by getting up that very squishy army, which can go down to the Storm charge lot follow-up. And you know what? That point is moot, as we do have the Robo facility coming on in. Jon Snow did make about 8 to 10 lings that he did reveal to that first Adept, but those will be going across the map, getting a little bit of damage. And now Jon really does need to hide the last couple of lings just to make sure that Ryan doesn't know how many he's actually made. And this could be very deadly, as we do have so many lings on the way. Ryan just barely getting the wall up as well. That Adept is about to go down, and the probe on the other side not being helped out. So now with the surround on that one Adept, still lives, surprisingly enough. As the probes are pulled, they will start to fall. But some good positioning here by Ryan. Just going to try and keep that wall going for as long as possible. Eventually, though, Jon will make it in. The shield battery, though, is such a big nuisance because they can't even kill a single probe. But I think from here, he really needs to finish this wall. And unfortunately, only just now getting that second gateway in. Is that a lone pylon? That is indeed a low pylon. So there's absolutely nothing that Ryan can warp in. So that last Adept was the only unit for him. And now the Lings just going to storm their way in. GG is called, and Jon Snow puts Psistorm on the board for the first game. Fantastic play right there. That is really what you would expect out of North America. Fast, simple, and to the point. Get app here so that we can keep things rolling. Yeah, great start. Hope everyone is having a good time tonight. Remember, this is not the only match going on today. We will be having the second round, which I believe is Exon Cham versus the NA Clowns coming on in, and I'm expecting that one to be a good one. You know, Cham is such a renowned player in his group and his series that he plays in, that it's really just a fun thing to watch. If this actually works. I forgot that there's actually a delay on stream, so you guys are just seeing the carnage happen for the first time right now. And yeah, we're going to have to see what these guys decide, because after that one, they might want to be going... You know, it's always that thing about these team leagues. This is very similar to the old Pro League setup. You have to kind of train to recognize who your opponent is and what you... Sorry, I'm getting distracted by the chat. But yeah, you got to kind of realize who's on the opponent team and who you have who can effectively can effectively counter them. Again, I forget English. I'm sorry, guys. It's only my first and only language. But we are just deciding who is going to be playing next. Looks like Nina is making that decision for her team, and Ruff is the team captain for Psistorm. I'm still figuring this out. But, yep, it's Romanticide for map number 2, guys. The maps are already preset. And, a lot of chatting going on. There you go, Drickett, helping you out there. I don't have... no one pays attention to Passer. I'm just kind of here, apparently. But yeah, I hope everyone... Like we're StarCraft Legends going on right now. That is going to be an exciting one. And then we have IEM tomorrow. So much good StarCraft coming on up this weekend, especially... Yeah, just especially like IEM and Katowice and everything. They haven't said their players. All right, so yeah, it's gonna be Ganyu versus Epic. Epic playing for Psistorm Gaming. He's been around for quite a long time as well. Psistorm, kind of the old guard for it. And yeah, Exon taking on a lot of new players. You know, they've got Max Packs, which is an exciting one for the EU scene. Also, if you guys are watching, come on, man. Let's go. Hey, players, if you are watching, please make sure you're joining the lobby so that we can keep things rolling. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, here we go, guys. So, like I said, Romanticide is our next map. Gonna be PVT. Come on, go. And here we go. Finally gonna get this one started in about 30... All right. So, I said best of 5, all games played. Psistorm is up 1-0. Spawning in the top position. Give it up for Psistorm Gaming's Epic. And his opponent, this lovely gentleman down here for Exon, is Ganyu. All right, so obviously we were in the chat a little bit there, Ganyu saying that he might pull a little bit of the NA special, otherwise known as a very spicy cheese. Right now, it doesn't look like that's indeed the case, as he does have that first gateway down in its normal position. But this is quite a wide open map. You do have areas like down here where you can hide a Stargate relatively easily where it won't get scouted. And I mean, honestly, things like that, there's so many different locations where you can just drop the shield batteries for Void Rays. You can just go like 2 or 3 oracles and go from there. Just make Phoenix, deny drops, and go to the later stages of the game where Terran might have some issues, because in the late game you do need to have very good control as a Terran player. I'm not saying anything about Protoss, but just the fact that you have to juggle so many different abilities like EMP, Vikings, Stim. Yes, it's harder than you think when you got a bunch of Colossus and Disruptors wailing away on you. Hashtag no bias required. But yeah, no, Ganyu is just going to be getting that natural base up nice and tidy there. He's got his second assimilator, so he should be dropping down his tech relatively soon. And from what he's building, I'm going to guess Twilight Council. Blink can be very powerful on this map. I think that's going to be a good option. Maybe DTs if he's feeling spicy. But yeah, just pumping out Stalkers. That signals to me aggression. Fast Warp Gate as well going to be coming in. The Reaper will get to the back. The Stalker not out just yet as that Twilight Council comes in. Epic more concerned with getting the probe kills. I feel like he really needs to get into that main base and see what's up. Getting 2 kills is nice, but it doesn't really do anything for the situation of you're being aggressed. Now, we will have to keep an eye out for the number of gateways that Ganyu drops off the back of this, because if he throws down 3, there's a good possibility that he can expand out of it, get his third base, and go to the late game. But if he drops 4, that's where it's dicey on 2 bases, because he won't really be able to expand out of it very quickly. And we do see Epic going to be coming in here, just abusing the probe line, going to be delaying any sort of tech that comes out. Just take a look at this income. Although He's trying to get the Reaper, but the Reaper will escape. Yeah, this is exactly where he had the probes pulled. So already, just getting some really good damage in, even if it's not all completely permanent, I'd like to say. Microing back the weakened Marines as well, just trying to hunt down this Stalker, which does have that superior range. Now that Epic knows what's coming his way, he's just going to be pumping out the Raven to deal with any sort of observers. He's got the Siege Tank coming in so he can respond to this with a very aggressive tank push. Because honestly, I don't think tanks do as well in the later stages of a PvT, just because Zealots do kind of force that friendly fire a bit too much. How many gateways are there? There are currently 2 out with no more on the way. That is kind of interesting. That might be just a reaction to Epic scouting it and trying to change things up a little bit. You're going to be coming around looking for that third base. Now Ganyu's kind of just going to be keeping these Stalkers out on the map for those pickoffs. Looks like Epic is still kind of positioning, thinking that the Blink will come in, but now with 2 Siege Tanks, that's pretty much more than enough to deal with it. Here we go, the Stalker is going to be beating down the wall. Shouldn't really get too much, but we'll get the supply depot, which is okay. No. Just got to make sure you don't lose them to the Siege Tank. Okay, Ganyu, you are a legend if you pull this off. He's going for disruptors straight away, and he will have Warp Prism speed to help him out on that path. That's going to help out quite a bit as Epic starts to move out. Yeah, he still doesn't have a third base either. He's just pumping units. Has cut SCV production entirely at 47. There's the third CC. As I say that, cast a curse right there. The Stalker's going to be coming back, looking for some damage. Might get a medevac. No, good reactions there. Keeping the Marauders in the back as well to help out. Yeah, there's a couple of good positions that you can hit. Let's see if Ganyu is ready for it. He's down 20 army supply, but the disruptor hits might be legendary. And gonna go down, revealing what's at the top. He sees the disruptors, and now he's gonna be in a very kind of interesting position here because this will allow him to get to the natural. But he does have the potential to get caught. That Raven, if it could shut down the disruptors, this is just so scary for him. It looks like he does lose the Raven, leaving the disruptor some room to breathe. He will clean up both of the siege tanks and the reinforcements. Not attacking here. They are on move command, but back in the natural. He is taking quite a bit of damage. Shield battery overcharge happened and popped. So that will help out. But now that that's done, he's just going to focus fire down the disruptors and hopefully get out of there. Does lose a medevac, so not the cleanest execution for Epic. He lost pretty much everything. And kind of taking a look at how that fight went. Okay, relatively equal. No big deal there. But still, the fact that Epic lost so much of his army just because of those disruptors is crucial for the fact that now Ganyu it does have a little bit more map presence with these stalkers. Although, got to be careful not to go too far forward, lest he be caught completely out. Hey, welcome, Meyer. How you doing, man? All right, Epic gonna keep this aggression going while Ganyu is stationed at the third base. there's still a pretty open position where he can go straight for the main, but it looks like he's just going to stim in, get what he can, and stim out. Yeah, there is no way you can fight this with this few units. And Ganyu going to give chase. Gets right on top of the Marauders. Getting those pickoffs is really nice. But I think the big prize here would be those medevacs. At this point, you don't really want to be remaking those. Instead, you want to be focusing your gas towards your next stage. For Epic, I don't really see too much else here. Is he... Okay, he's on 5 racks. I just don't know if that's enough. You know, as this game goes on, I think it can get a little bit better for Ganyu if we don't see too much else come out of Epic, because he still doesn't have any additional racks, so his production is very limited. Which means that every time he trades, he's gonna be in a little bit more trouble each and every single time. Yeah, there we go. Additional racks. Crisis averted. Still, that took quite a bit of time, and the Liberator as well, not making things easy for Ganyu. Gonna get one of those Stalkers. Disruptors gonna keep everything from sieging up that ramp. We do have that War Prism in the backfield looking to catch the army. Run, Forrest, run! Good Split's gonna make sure that he doesn't lose too much there. And now with Ghost coming on the way, what is really the choice here for Ganyu? He still really doesn't have a super healthy disruptor count, so if Epic can get those spreads in, then it's going to be quite a hard fight for him. Oh no, but that is a beautiful connection right there, and Ganyu is now equal in terms of that army supply. So this attack from Epic is so in trouble. Look at it as well. +2 not done just yet. I feel like Epic shouldn't really engage without that, as he will be on too much equal footing, and since his army has been neutered, really hard to say if he could win that one, especially with the War Prism flying around. Ganyu, you are a legend. I love it. And yes, sire, there is a 90-second delay. Oof, a little bit too far forward with that. Do have that Liberator getting cleaned up in the background as the Disruptor, and just trying to force this away from him. He doesn't really want to engage in here. He kind of just wants to buy time to rebuild some of those units, get an extra couple of Disruptors, maybe throw down a Robo facility or two. You know, extra additional gateways. We haven't really seen him power up anymore. In terms of that production, he's only got 7 gates at 12 minutes in the game. Here we go. The Liberator is going to be coming in to section this army out. If the Stalkers dive on top of this, they're going to be in a world of trouble as those Marauders holding back. Disruptor shots going to listlessly aim away. Now Epic is completely sieging this location. He will be able to get this 4th Nexus relatively easily, as Ganyu really doesn't have enough Stalkers to siege up on top of that. So we do see him going for a brand new 4th base down there in the bottom. But here we go, a big engagement coming down. The Disruptor forcing the disengage. But now as a supply blocked Ganyu is going to have some trouble reinforcing this army. Yeah, even losing that Nexus is a really big deal. Epic kind of just trying to bait him forward into the Liberator fields. Being very patient with all of this. The Disruptors getting way too far forward. They are very susceptible to getting hit. One big Disruptor shot, no big Disruptor shot. It's a little bit in the back there, but now Epic, with the beautiful spreads, is going to continue to engage this. while dodging literally everything before backing off. He already has another army back at home. So he's not going to be really in any trouble of a counterattack. And honestly, I think if he just keeps up the aggression, keeps the trades relatively in his favor, he's going to win this game. We're only just now seeing that Colossus transition. He will have +3 very soon. That is, both players will have +3. Yeah, just even open up these rocks for a couple of extra attack paths is really nice for Epic. And I know I'm kind of sounding like I'm very Epic biased here for the moment, but he's just taking the better engagements. As you can see, the spread's really good. Disruptors getting a couple of units here and there. That's a big hit. A little bit at one there. Going to force the disengage once again. But now with the Liberators in play, they do have range. Epic will be able to get into a good position to attack into Ganyu. I think they said his name was Jennison. Pili Pili. But hold that thought as the Disruptor is moving a little bit too far forward, so they will get picked off. The splits are really good for Epic, and as Ganyu's supply just plummets here, I think Epic has forced his way through. Another big warping of Zealots, not going to be enough as the Bio cleaning this up. And with that, Psistorm takes the second game. They are looking at a pretty good chance of a sweep right now. We're going to have to see Exon Nina pull out the all the stops for the next couple of games if they want to keep it going. The next map, we're going to be going in Pillars of Gold. And you're right, a lot of those disruptor shots were pretty big. He just didn't have enough to kind of stop the production of Epic. It kind of seemed like he was just getting outproduced there for a lot of that game. Feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, all you GMs. But yeah, he just didn't really have a lot of production on the back. Let me make the next lobby, and we'll get the players on in. All right, so the big question is, who does Nina and who does Psistorm have left? Trying to take a look at their rosters. Actually have their rosters up. Yeah, let me take a look. There. All right, we got our first player. I will not announce him until the second player joins, and he just came in. So I'm actually going to keep it a surprise here till we start. And this is gonna, oh my god, this is gonna be a good one, guys. We're gonna get the Go-Go's. Just a second. Maybe. Anybody? Hello? Yeah, I'd like to remind everyone that this is not the only action going on today. We also are going to be having the other match, NA Clowns versus Exon Cham, coming up at 9 p.m. EST tonight on this channel. You can also check out Winter's channel. He's going to be doing the other two matches. All right, we got the first Go-Go. And the second Go-Go. hope you guys are as excited as I am. You probably will be after seeing these names. Hyping it up a bit too much, aren't I? We'll have to see about that. Let's figure it out, because spawning up here in the top position of Pillars of Gold for Exon in the red trunks. Give it up for Steadfast. And his opponent in this ZVZ matchup for Psistorm Gaming, he's wearing the blue. Give it up for Namshar. Okay, so I don't think there's many people who don't know Namshar yet in the StarCraft 2 scene. He's been around for forever, and again, it's coming down to the old guard taking on the newbies in Exon. Not calling them bad newbies. Obviously, they have so many good players on that, but you know, it's always fun to see the fresh blood take on the old blood. Although, I gotta admit, I don't really know Steadfast's playstyle too much. Looks like they're kind of just doing similar builds right now, getting the hatcheries up at roughly the same time. Yeah, this is a mirror matchup, so if we don't see someone die in the next 3 to 4 minutes, then it's more than likely going to be roaches versus Yutas, roaches versus roaches, roaches versus lurkers, or lurkers versus lurkers. A very dumbed down version of ZVZ. Okay, so nothing really too much for the first minute. You have that Overlord going a little bit too far in. Luckily, the Queen is not coming out. Namshar does see that first pair of links just going to be coming across the map as he's sending his own. Just looking for a little bit of information, just making sure that there's no cheese coming across, that this wasn't a 13-12 pool. We'll see he will see about 4 lings, but that's not really that big of a deal. We'll start to wall off with the Baneling nest, though, so that kind of tells me that we're going to be seeing some big aggressive plays out of Steadfast coming up here in just a couple of minutes. I mean, I don't disagree with him here. The first game, very quick. Lost to a cheese. The second game, much more of a macro map, but in the end, it was also faltered. So why not counter cheese with some cheese? Here, just make it go quick. Get your team on the board, because I think this does go by map score rather than just winning. Sugar, if you can confirm that, just let me know. Yeah, we can kind of see Namshar will be getting that Baneling nest of his own a little bit more defensively, as he does deflect the first couple of lings from Steadfast. Those will be going on home, and we do see some more coming out, probably just for safety at this point, as Namshar is going to be looking to go for a blow. We're just going to defend with a couple of Banelings while he moves in. Did see the Baneling nest, so he knows he has to be careful, but he will be going for the third base before getting deflected. Interesting that he gets the scout. There's not really too much else to see. The Roach Warren hasn't even been dropped yet for either side, although we do see those +1 upgrades coming on in. Steadfast will be going to a much faster layer, so he will be able to have speed come out for those roaches. Baneling going to be a little bit wasteful there, but you know, Namshar did get the scout. Right, so keep an eye on those timings here. May not seem like a lot, but especially in these mirror matchups where you have exactly the same units, those couple of seconds where you think you're safe, those can be the biggest seconds of the game, and they can really cost you everything if you're just a couple seconds behind your opponent. Now, both players are just kind of droning up behind this. We do see a small run by, going to get a couple of drones. Pretty nice investment right there because he will be able to get out with the Lings as well. Looks like the Lings are even going to get the Queen. That is amazing for Namshar, as that will allow him to kind of just play around with this third. As the drones are repositioning back to it, those will be, you know, they will be delayed a little bit, having to deal with it. And kind of overall, look at this. Namshar losing 10 Lings for all of these units. Look at that. He's not even dead yet. He's just now becoming a little stain on the pavement. Steadfast, by the way, has cut drone production at 57, just pumping out tons of roaches, which he is trying to hide from the overlords of Namshar. But they will get scouted at the very last second. I think this is a timing that we're going to see speed. As soon as that's a little bit closer, he will be moving across the map with those roaches. And on the other side of things, Namshar just forced to make quite a few of them. They're actually equal on the army supply, or excuse me, worker supply. Difference is Namshar will be going for that 4th base, while Steadfast is content to stay on 3. That means that Namshar will have more larvae to work with. I don't know, because, you know, Namshar is still ahead in terms of that army count as well. He sees the army moving across the map, and there's a lot of different angles that you have to recognize for this map. As there is a good chance of getting double-pronged, so you have to position your army very, very carefully. Biles coming on in, gonna get a couple of hits off for both sides. But Steadfast is gonna be forced away by the overwhelming might of Namshar, who is currently up over 30 army supply. Actually going to get a Ravager there. Nice bile control on the retreat. And now he's just going to have to try and fight with the high ground. But the, what do you call this thing? Overlord on the top. Just giving him all the vision that he needs to continue to press forward. Taking a look at the upgrades, Namshar as well has that +1 Carapace, meaning his units are much spicier. And with +2 attack on the way for both players, this is going to be very dicey for Steadfast. He's going to have to get a good concave and not take so many bile shots. Now, Defender's Advantage can be pretty strong. With 20 additional roaches coming across, though, Steadfast supply is plummeting. Yeah, take a look at that. 9 roaches to 28. Namshar can continue to press this advantage for as long as he wants. Even just killing off the overlords is nice because he's trying to supply block his opponent. It's not going to work, but at the same time, what will work is so many roaches. 124 to 74. Kind of taking a look at that. Getting some really good. It looks like he wanted to go for a 4th base, but he is nowhere near out of the woods just yet. Going for a pretty good concave. He's going to dive right on top of this, but I think Namshar has done it. Just with overwhelming numbers, and Psistorm will go up 3-0. Now, don't worry. The series is not over just yet. We will be playing all of the games, so you will still be seeing all the amazing players. Have to offer. There we go. This, we are going into Oxide. Make lobby here really quick, and I'd like to thank you all for tuning in again. Really appreciate seeing you here. If you want to see more XC2 action, you can go ahead and hit that follow button. Really appreciate it. On track to hit 100 followers about the next 6-7 years. All right, so the big question is, you guys are running out of options here, what they can choose. That many out anymore. Really gonna be the count, who can get the best counter. All right, we got our first one in. I am not gonna say who it is, just like before. Oh, well, we'll keep it a little bit of a surprise. Heck. Trying to find a roster. If you have one available, just let me know. Look, I'm looking for one so I can kind of see if they have an option. Really tempted to. Don't want to ruin. I have been muted. I do not know for how long. Okay, that is pretty interesting. But okay, if you guys know Ruff. By the way, this is Ruff. And this is Nina. Just in case it didn't work. But if you guys know Ruff, he is very big on these very cheesy, very unique strategies. And they're those kind of things that can really throw you off guard. He is pretty much the epitome of the North American server with how he plays. It's very unorthodox. Now, Nina, she's going to be a little bit unorthodox herself, as we do have that pylon coming across the map. We'll have to see what she does with that, as maybe going to be a gateway for a Max Pax build. That's kind of what it's looking like here, as I think she's going to be throwing down the gateway here as soon as she has 150. Am I right? No, it's going to be Stargate off Cybernetics Core. Now it comes down to Nina cannot expand into her natural anymore. We do see Ruff going to be going for a little bit of a scout all around. So he will find that eventually. By eventually, I mean right now. It's just going to be a more standard ease. For her, it's going to be Void Rays all over the place, which Ruff is going to try and counter in a very unique way. I actually like this a lot. Going to get that Marauder up, which just hits a whole lot harder on these ground buildings. Now, I don't think that the pylon is in place, so he's just going to go straight for the shield battery, try and slow that down as his second Marauder comes on in. He knows that he really needs to kill that off, or else these units are just going to be too big of a nuisance to deal with. The Tickle Cannon going down on the Adept, as Ruff is going to be having to go on the retreat. That the Cyclone going to be coming in and actually going to be going for that Oracle, knowing that there's not really going to be any Marines. Oh my goodness, this is going to be spicy levels of damage. As two already going down, the Cyclone getting focus fired, but the Oracle will fall. It's kind of done its job, however. That Cyclone completely weakened. That will have to be repaired. But that's going to slow things down a little bit, as the Adept's going to be coming up the main ramp, trying to get rid of the supply depots. The Marine count, again, just non-existent. And that bunker, nowhere close to being able to be utilized. Man, this is just a really hard position for Ruff. He's going to have to hold on for quite a bit of time. Nina actually being very ballsy with this first Void Ray. Going to get it really down into yellow before backing on off. The shield battery hasn't been done for that long of a time, so it wasn't healing up. Now we do have that bunker finishing, but the shield batteries are in range. Ruff is going to be losing these supply depots as well, it looks like. Although he may actually get the Adepts. Now, keep in mind, there is no real follow-up for Nina behind this. She doesn't really have any additional tech coming on down. And honestly, being a little bit loose with those, with the first Void Ray here, might actually lose it. That's going to take so much power off this push. Yeah, there you go. Loses the Void Ray in the back, and, you know, no expansion. Just one or two additional gateways, just trying to break down the wall. As time goes on, Ruff is just going to get in a better and better position. Looks like Nina doesn't care, however, because this wall is going down if it's the last thing she does. Rays, again, don't really have the power to deal with it all. Will get that Cyclone, however, and Ruff is now supply block, losing that first supply depot. The bunker will go down, and I think, actually, now that Nina has those reinforcements coming in, I think this has essentially been broken. That. No Marines. No Cyclones. He is about to free up some supply, but it's in the worst way possible. And now Nina puts her team on the board. All right, so biting back is Exon. I gotta say, I like these quick games. They're very fun to watch. They can be a little bit stressful to play, however, so I don't envy these guys for having to do so. Oh man, we're all talking about Genshin Impact in the chat. I have still not played that game, and I really don't feel like I should. At this point, I get really addicted to certain games. Like after doing a Raid Shadow Legends stream, I got addicted to that for a few weeks. And you know, the glutton for punishment I am. Probably doing another Raid Shadow Legends stream soon. Okay, so the question is, who is going to be the ace for both sides? And map number 5, anybody is on the table. You can reuse your players as you so choose. Who's it gonna be? Will he doesn't play. Will Jon Snow be making a comeback for another go at the Gouda? Will it be Steadfast battling out Namshar once again? Or will it be the two team captains battling it out once again? I think I said that twice. I don't know. Deja vu. You know what? They say the player out loud. I'm just going to invite them. Put the lobby link up so that they would come in. Ooh, someone just came. Fine. Which I think this is going to be an interesting last map to close out this part of the stream. Reminding you guys, and I'm going to do it just one more time. Remember that we do have the NA Clowns battling. The NA Clowns battling out against the other Exon team, Cham, who's going to be looking for a win on his birthday. So make sure you wish him happy birthday today. Ooh, I like it. All right, we got Psistorm's player hanging on out. Still, like, I know who the player is. It's not a surprise to me, but I'm just waiting for them to join the lobby. I'm even inviting them to make it a little bit easier. Oh my goodness. Thank you. But I'd like to thank you all for tuning in so far. It has been a treat seeing y'all. Really hope this NA Apprentice takes off in the way that Sugar is intended to, because this is actually a really cool thing for the North American scene, who really doesn't get as much love in the team spirit of things as it necessarily should. You know, there's a lot of up-and-coming and great players in the region who really just need that kind of scene to be built up. But all right, good to go. The only thing I will say about this one is it's going to be pretty darn good as Light Shade, one of those maps that's really fun to watch. I expect this one to go into the late game. That's where both of these players really do shine. If you heard that countdown timer, you know I'm done yakking on. Don't worry. No more yakking. As we've got spawning down here in the bottom position. Give it up for Psistorm Gaming's Epic. And his opponent up in the top for Exon. Give it up for Ganyu, also known as Jennison. I'll probably call him Ganyu because it's a little bit easier. Now, Ganyu did promise some cheese in the last game, but it did go pretty late. It's actually a repeat match between these guys. So we did see Epic kind of out macro him in the later stages of the game. You know, he just really didn't get that transition into Colossus fast enough. If he would have done so, I think he would have been in a much better spot than just relying on those juicy disruptor hits. Because it seemed like every time he killed an army, the next one was already behind it. Another thing, maybe some additional gateways. As you go up to 4 bases, you can certainly afford a little bit of extra economy and a couple of extra production buildings just to make it a little bit easier to keep up with the Terran. But that's enough about what was wrong. What was right, that he did utilize the disruptors very well to start things off. It's just as Epic kind of got on, he got the Liberators, he got the splits down, and the damage just stopped multiplying like it was early on. Looks like he's just going to try and deny that natural for as long as possible. Remember that Terran players can actually just drop that wherever. So all he's got to do is wait for the pylon to cancel. Yeah, it looks like Epic did skip that first Reaper and instead went straight up to the reactor. So aggression almost certainly here, because that will allow him to have quite a few Marines out on the map very, very quickly. When coupled with a nice heavy siege tank push, it's really difficult to kind of hold on to. Okay, there we go. Twilight Council, just like the last time. He's going to be going up to Blink. He's going to be able to use that a bit very defensively. I don't really see him using it for aggression too heavily. Oh my gosh, is he going to be pulling a Dream here? Oh my goodness. So basically what I think is about to happen is he's going to wait for that armory to finish. And yeah, there you go. He's going to be Widow Mining it up. So those Widow Mines will have Drilling Claws and Burrow hiddenness because the armory is down. Remember, that used to be what Drilling Claws did until they buffed it. No, Epic just needs to keep this hidden because this is a bit unorthodox, but it can be very powerful if Ganyu's not paying attention. Now we kind of just have this slow little build-up here. Jennison on the other side of the map is just going to be, you know, he's got a couple of additional gates. He's got the Robo facility coming on in. Nothing really too much else to say about it. It's kind of very standard, very open. Oh, okay. He only has one additional gate. That's actually pretty interesting. I digress because he has to keep the stalkers in position. There we go. The additional gate's going to be dropped right now, so we should be seeing Potentially a warp prism come out right after this observer. Uh-oh, I don't know what Sugar is screaming about. If he's screaming, that's saying something, because he puts together team leagues. He doesn't know fear. Yeah, just coupling this with +1. The medevac does come in. Burrow is very strong. He pulls away just in the nick of time, but he will lose one of those stalkers before Blink is finished. The observer will have to come back home. Actually, never mind. He does have a second one on the way. So he will be able to clean this up without too much of a hassle. So we already see the second medevac coming on through. We'll lose this one. A little bit of a missed micro right there. Getting it straight back in. Guess he was trying to bait out the stalkers to the natural, which, I mean, he did. As is he paying attention? Doesn't look like it. Pretty nice connection. Gonna get 4 additional workers, so that is 8 total. That will put Epic ahead in the worker count. And this as well. +1 is about to finish Stim about maybe 20 to 30 seconds before completing, and combat shields. That takes no time at all. Epic going to be moving out on the map as he tries to take his 3rd base. I think that's kind of the most powerful time when a Terran player can move out. Just because you do need to keep the pressure off the 3rd while you build up the additional production that you have. Like those wood mines are to help out. Disruptors on the way. A couple of nice pickoffs. He's just trying to make sure that Epic doesn't move too far forward. But you know what? He's just going to pick up. He's just going to pick up and head on over to this side of the map. And yep, both players are playing again. As Epic did get scattered right here. He will not lose the medevac just yet. He will be able to unburrow. Or unload. Which is great. The Disruptor not really going to get too much either. And now, Epic does have that supply lead. There is only one Disruptor shot that he can rely on as Jennison. So he's going to have to rely on the Blinks as well. Huge Disruptor ball. Going to end this fight before it really begins. But it looks like Epic is not done with this engagement. Just keeping the Widow Mines in the back so that he can disengage on his terms. Interested that he tried to waste that on a Widow Mine shot, because remember, he doesn't really have too many of those just yet. As we see a little bit of a parade push coming across the map. 2 Marines, 2 Marauders, 2 of everything. Just like the Arc. Except this one is an Arc of Pain. Him on forward, forcing the disengage with the Disruptors. Wouldn't mind actually does burrow 7 additional workers. So Epic really just finding these little bits of damage here and there, trying to propel his way forward. And I mean, kind of just taking a look at this. If he keeps these up, he's gonna feel pretty good about himself. Oh no, this Widow Mine is about to shoot again, just barely in the nick of time. Gets that. Still playing around, looking for a kill on the 4th base that is no longer there. Wasn't even there to begin with. Now 70 workers, 2 different armies skulking around. I think Ganyu is feeling the sting a little bit. When behind Dark Shrine, as they say. The one thing I do like, however, is just the fact that he's going up to Colossus a little bit quicker than he did in the last game. We do have extended Thermal Lance on the way. So if he can get out a nice healthy Colossus count, I think that's going to help out quite a bit. But unfortunately, he's out of position, so he will be losing some workers here. The mine gets cleaned up there. The rest of the army is falling back as the Doom Drop coming towards the main. There are no units here, forcing the defensive warp in with Zealots. But even then, I don't think that is enough for this location. Yeah, fighting in a choke point like this. Ganyu supply is starting to plummet a little bit, even supply block quite heavily. On the other side, we do have a couple of units just battling down the Nexus, losing the Warp Prism with one of the Disruptors inside. Oh man, Epic is absolutely everywhere, and Ganyu just really doesn't have enough to defend all these different locations. Now Epic almost maxed out. It looks like he's going to be adding in the Liberators pretty darn soon, as he will have that Fusion Core coming in. But honestly, he doesn't even really need them too much right now. He just needs to keep up what he's doing. Play where the Disruptors are not. You know, a good snipe on the medevac there. Going to try and weaken this as much as possible. Disruptor will get focus fire down, so that will not be a deal breaker for this. The DT warped in and revealed for the first time. It looks like Epic's not really paying attention to this side, because a couple of huge disruptor hits, it looks like, coming on over here. As Epic gets cleaned up on this side, he retreats on this one, but again, the supply doesn't really lie. Taking a look at the fighting here, it may look equal, but just look what Ganyu's losing. He's losing the Disruptors, which are really his only damage dealers. A pretty good hit right there. Going to try and bring this back. Oh man, he just needs so much more in order to do so. He's about to get sandwiched really hard. Okay, beautiful force field right there. Going to keep this army away for just a little bit longer. But once that's gone, Epic will be able to sandwich. He doesn't know the full situation, it looks like, just kind of with how passive he's being on the other side. He's trying to make sure he doesn't throw away any leads that he has accumulated over the time. Oh my goodness. Scan gonna go down, revealing the third base is completely unopened. He catches the army out here in the middle of the map as well. The Disruptors whiffing their shots, and this is exactly what I was worried about. As one pincer comes in, the second one goes straight for the natural. Now he can just get in and get on out of there as he cleans up the natural. That's gonna be it for this series.